Now it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our morning keynote speaker, Linda Morris Williams. Linda came to campus in May of 2008. I didn't realize that you were exactly 1 month earlier than I came to campus. And she's our Associate Chancellor. As a senior advisor to the Chancellor and a member of the Cabinet, she serves as the lead strategist with a broad level of authority in representing faculty, senior administrators, and the campus as a whole. Her organization includes the organizations of Government and Community Relations, the Office of Ethics, Risk, and Compliance Services, and the Staff Ombuds Office, among many. What makes Linda so admirable is that she's had a 25-year career rising to the top within the UC system. She started out in San Diego and then went to the UC Office of the President, and now we have her here with us at UC Berkeley. She's received numerous awards throughout her illustrious career in every UC role that she's had, as well as accolades from a broad variety of organizations in the community. Her full bio is on page 4 in your booklet if you'd like to see it. What I want you to know this morning, though, is that Linda motivates, she inspires, she mentors, she influences, and she encourages so many of us, me included, with her passion for people and the professionalism and excellence that shines through in everything she touches. So without further ado, please give a warm round of applause to Linda Williams.
Well, first of all, good morning. Good morning. So all of you up there, I got this light in my face, so I can't see you, but hey. Glad you're all here. So good morning. Sid, thank you for such a warm welcome. And John, thank you for your remarks. And thank you for being here to show the leadership for the campus. We really, truly appreciate it. I'm just truly honored to be here this morning. I am glad to see so many faces out there. Many of you I know. Many of you I may not have met before, but I certainly look forward to meeting you during my time here this morning. So, you know, I too want to just take an opportunity to thank leadership on this campus, the Chancellor included, for allowing this conference not only happen again this year, but making a commitment for it to go forward in the future. As you heard our Vice Chancellor say, we need these kinds of opportunities. We need to be able to come together and talk and to strategize about how to go forward and how to have a successful career. So with that, please just join me in applauding everybody who's taken the time to put this together. So as you heard, the goal of the NOW conference is to allow you to think now, today, about your career in a more intentional and action-oriented way. Over 500 of you took the time and decided that today was going to be used to lift up not only yourselves, but to lift up each other in achieving success and imagining the possibilities of your career here at UC Berkeley. And as many of you know, it takes a village to raise a child. I will say it takes a village to also develop your career here at the campus, because taking the time to meet and talk with people, understand what it is and the tools that they had in their toolkit to be successful is what is all of our responsibilities as we embark and engage in advancing our careers. So today really is all about you. It is totally about you, and that's why we're here. So let's use these thoughts to get our energy up. If you don't like something, change it, fix it, and then celebrate. Because celebration is important. So with that said, take a minute to turn to the person sitting next to you, shake their hand, congratulate them on being here today, and celebrate this brief moment. All right, didn't that feel good? Say, hey, high five. High five to all y'all up there. I know y'all did that too, right? All right. Good stuff. So for those of you who know me, you know I believe in cutting right to the chase. John kind of alluded to that a little bit in his introduction. So I'm going to start with just beginning by saying you have to know what you want, and you have to have a plan to help you get there. That's just the first thought that I want to share with you. And I'm going to talk about a few things throughout my talk that I hope helps you see where I'm trying to go. I want to begin with the definition of career development, which will help to put a framework around what I like to share. Career development is a lifelong process of managing, learning, work, leisure, and transitions in order to move forward toward a personally determined and evolving preferred future. Let's say that again. Career development is the lifelong process of managing, that means you're responsible, learning, work, leisure, and transitions in order to move forward on something that you have determined is personally important for you. That sounds pretty good to me. So first, it is lifelong. It doesn't end today, and it doesn't end tomorrow. Second, it's a process of managing. That means you got to be engaged. You have to be active in it. Third, it's transitional. There will be change that will take place all the time, and I'll talk more about that. And finally, it's personal. It's about what you want. What do you want to do? So I'm going to stay with these themes as I continue to share some of my thoughts and my experiences. When people ask me about my career, the best way for me to share it is to tell my story. So I'll do that. I'll speak my truth, reflect upon themes as they relate to my 26 and a half years. Sid, you left off that year and a half. I got to take it back, y'all. It's been a long journey. 26 and a half years in the system. And for me, embracing these themes also meant personally managing challenges, choices, and changes that were in front of me along the way. Advancing your career on the Berkeley campus and even through the UC system will result in facing all three of these matters. Throughout my talk, I will share with you a few aspects of what it took for me to do during my career. First, I have to, because it is who I am, and again, I said I'm telling my story, I have to acknowledge that I've been truly blessed. I woke up this morning, and that's where I start every morning for me, is to say, I woke up, it's a good day. The rest of this is filler. And so you have to really be grateful for where you're starting each day. I thank God for the revelation he brings to me daily, because it is with this clarity and understanding that I get to see my way clearly. Second, seeing my way clearly also requires that I acknowledge that I'm responsible for taking charge of my career and my advancement in the UC system. I also acknowledge that this movement will bring, and every day it does, challenges, choices, and changes again, and I'm going to keep talking about that. Some will be professional, and some will be personal. If you live long enough, as my mother used to tell me, you'll experience them all. I started at UCSD 16 years ago. I spent 16 years at UCSD. I started as an AA2. And AA2 back then, I came in as an office manager in the Office of Capital Planning. It's a little different structure to our career development programs now, but I came in, started as an AA2, and we had a track. For those of you who have been around this long, you know, you AA2, you go AA3, you go MEN specialist, blah, blah, blah. We have a little different track now, and I think that's great. I really compliment the campus on the different things that they have done, because I think it allows us to transition and navigate some of these career opportunities a little easier than it may have been then, and not so compartmentalized. So I was promoted up through the department. I was offered an opportunity to be an MSO over at the Graduate School of International Relations and Pacific Studies on the San Diego campus. By that time, I think I was an administrative analyst. The assistant dean called me and said, I've heard about you. Imagine that. And I said, okay. And she said, I understand you want to be an MSO. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And she said, well, I have an MSO 2 position. And I was not an MSO 1 yet. Let's start. And I said, okay. And so she said, well, why don't you come over and talk with me? I said, well, let's do that. I was scared out of my wits about taking this opportunity to go even talk with her. Because first of all, what I did was begin to think, oh boy, what don't I know rather than what do I know? Okay, I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I went over, I spoke with her, met, we just struck a chord, met with the dean, and the rest is history there at the school. And then there was a fellowship opportunity that opened up in the vice chancellor's office on the campus, and I wasn't going to apply for it. I was happy as a clam, and I share that with you because sometimes an opportunity will come and you'll just be so happy where you are, you just get anchored in, you're like, cool, I'm just going to keep flying on this, and an opportunity comes your way and you just don't take it. So I just want to say, expand your vision, think about where all those things may be, because you don't have to leave because you're mad. You can leave happy. Just saying, I'm just saying. Okay. Anyway, so I wasn't going to apply because there I was, happy as a clam. And someone that I know just a very, very casual relationship called me and asked me, was I going to apply for the job? And I said, no, I'm good. I'm going to just do what I've been doing. And this person literally said to me that they woke up this morning and was put in their spirit to call me and ask me that question. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when somebody says something like that to you, you got to pause for a minute, right? You got to go, really? You must be trying to tell me something I didn't know. I didn't get it today. So I said, oh, okay. So I took the piece of paper out the trash and I read it again and I applied for the fellowship. Here I am. I got the fellowship. So there was a purpose in her experience in my life to help me know that. And so I did the fellowship, went on to serve as, in that role in the vice chancellor's office, was asked to serve as associate chancellor at the San Diego campus, and that was my 16-year stint. And then I came up to be the associate president at the office of the president for 5 years. I did my time at office of the president. I'm just kidding. Forgot I was on film here. But anyway, it was a great journey. I had a great experience there, learned a lot. But in seriousness, the reality in all of that was that by being up at the office of the president, I got to see the system from a perspective that I could not do from just being down on a campus. And so I would say that, there is opportunity up there also. It does give you a different perspective that is transferable in all that there is. And so then 6 years, I've been here on the Berkeley campus. It has been a very exciting adventure to be Associate Chancellor here at Cal. Yay. And there's more adventure to come, I'm certain of. So let me assure you that in these 26 and a half years, I've had a lot of choices to make and a lot of changes to live through, and I'm still standing. So I just want to say it does work. Thank you. Now, I will also share with you that many of the stories and many of the experiences that I have had over these 26 and a half years, I'm saving from a novel. I'm on book 2. Some stuff you take to the grave. You just leave it alone and you don't talk about it. But I would encourage you to tackle your challenges, make good choices, and don't be afraid of change. So challenges. As a leader, whatever you're leading, you will face a challenge. If you're not being challenged, you may not be leading. I mean, folks want to challenge you when you're doing leadership. It is just what happens. You have to make tough choices. You've heard about some, you hear about more, and you just have to do that. And so leadership to me means being called aggressive and saying thank you, because I'm being aggressive about trying to make change both for myself and for others in the institution. It also means facing criticism, as I've mentioned, and leaders respond when things happen, they don't react. What's most important is what you do next. So we must not be fearful of making mistakes. If we do, we'll be the first to acknowledge that we've made them. What are we going to do next? That's what's most important. And then when you think about choices, I just want to say you do have choices all the time. I've had people say to me, well, I really didn't have a choice. That is transferring power like nobody's business. Please don't do that. You always have 2 choices. They both may be really 2 crummy choices, but one of them is a little better than the other one. Guaranteed, if you really take the time to look at it. So remember, you do always have choices. And so what has making choices meant to me? At various points in my career, I knew that one day I would have to move on from various jobs that I have, and I've had to do that. When that day came, I began a process to decide what this looked like, and I remained in control of my career and my destiny. And I did not stand in fear. I spoke truth to myself and to others. Fear, F-E-A-R, 2 meanings. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. It's your choice. It is totally your choice. We are here in charge of our careers and our lives. A colleague of mine shares something on the perspective of living our lives and recognizing that we do have our careers and our lives that we're managing at the same time. And what she said was, when juggling life's balls in the air, don't let the glass ones drop. Children, family, peace, and joy. The rubber ones you can catch on the bounce. Right? So you truly can. You really can. But there's those things that are important. If they crash and they break, trying to put that back together sometimes just doesn't come together well. So I'm saying all that to mean take care of yourselves. Just take care of yourselves in the journey. And in choosing where and who you want to work for, my advice is to decide early on that you just won't work for everybody and anywhere. Do your homework. I do a lot of mentoring. Those who I've mentored have heard me say this. Do some research on the job, do some research on the department, do some research on the people, okay? And correlate that to your life and where you are now. So if, for example, you want to go back to school, when you go to interview for that job, find out if that department is about helping people and has a real track record for helping you advance in that area. Because then when you take the job and then you want to go do that and you have a conversation with management and somehow their face looks a little different than it was before, you just want to replay back to them what you heard them say the first time. That's honest. That's the truth. So really do some research when you're thinking about where you want to go and what you want to do and how you want to do what you need to do. Because you give a lot of your time in our jobs. I mean, we spend more time with each other than some of us do with our own families. It's just the nature of what we do in working. I came to this campus because I believe that it aligns itself with the values that I have as a person. And I came to understand my life's assignments probably when I was in my 30s. I'm only 32. No. Started when I was 12. Don't be trying to do the math out there. But anyway, I have come to understand my life assignments, and it really is about empowering other people. And it took me some time in my life to understand exactly why I was being led to go do the work that I do and do the things that I have done. It's about empowering others. A lot of people think success is your ability to become successful. I disagree. For me, I believe that your success is your ability to make others successful. And then all of us really rise when that happens. Begin your efforts with an intended outcome. Know what you want. Have a strategy and have a plan. So I read somewhere that it says if plan A doesn't work, the alphabet has 26 more letters. And I think that's true. So you can go to plan B, you can go to plan C. So I think that's intended to say that there are other options past the first one. But I want to throw a little caution in that. If you're in the middle of the alphabet, you need to pause and stop for a minute. Don't think you got to go to Z and start back over with a big A and a little a and keep going, okay? Stop for a minute. Just pause and go on. But there are opportunities to continue to evaluate your circumstances. And sometimes we set A in play, and if A doesn't work, the world stops moving. So that's not the case. But have a plan. Have a A, a B, and other types of things. But continually assess where it is that you want to go. Speaking of being in control, don't give up your power. You heard me talk about that or mention it just a little earlier. Be careful not to give it up by asking the wrong questions, because then you get the wrong answer, the answer you didn't want, and then you're mad. I don't know who you're mad at, but you're mad. Let me say what that meant. I remember when I was down on the San Diego campus, and I was leaving to come up here, and I had several operational units reporting to me. And they were like, oh, well, you're leaving. The new person's coming in. Are they going to take our budgets away? But when I meet with them, I'm going to ask them, are they going to take our budgets away? For real? No, don't ask them that. Come in and say, we have a great operating unit. We have great leadership. We have a great team. We're doing great things. We have a phenomenal set of people in here doing what they need to do. So I look forward to working with you. I look forward to you supporting us. It's just a different tone and a different take rather than, are you going to do something negative I don't want you to do? Because if you ask me that, I'd probably go, well, hold on, let me check something. Because maybe I should take away your budget. I don't know. You know, if you think there's a reason I should, then maybe I should look at it too as a manager, and I don't think you really want us to do that. So just be careful about giving up power, and sometimes we pose the wrong questions. The other thing I like to share that I had to be very careful about is not being overexposed in my career, and what I mean by that is, you're asked to do a lot of different things all the time. You're serving on search committees, you're serving on this, you're serving on that, and then you look up and a lot of the things you were hoping to get done did not get done because of that. So I have something I call the 5-year test. Will I care about this in 5 years? I don't care about it in 5 years, I'm gonna find somebody who will. And I recommend that person to be a part of the experience and say, hey, no, I can't serve on that search committee, or no, I can't do this, but I know Joanna, can you come do this? Now, the interesting thing about that, by the time you put somebody's name out there, somebody else is thinking, oh, well, let me go find out who that is. So help lift each other and help do things for each other when you can't take the opportunity rather than just saying no. Help other people get to that same place. And something my mother told me when I was younger, I didn't understand it, but I got it down to a science now. So she said, stop letting other people give you their mess. Take the smell test, folks. Seriously, you know your smell. You know your stuff. If it's you, then deal with it. But if it's somebody else's, you can just take a pass. Just keep going. Just move on. Don't stop and linger, okay? Because sometimes we get other people's stuff and we're holding on to it and we're like, why do I have this? And then all of a sudden it's yours because they have left. They are gone out the room. It's not theirs anymore. So really be careful about what is yours and what is somebody else's. And it's very easy to find yourself in that place. Use voice. I think as leaders and others, we have a responsibility when we get to the table to use voice. That's why you're there. And it's important to get to the table. So find different ways to get that, help each other get to the table, but please use your voice. I'm not even gonna look at John because John and I sit in the same room all the time and I know how much I use voice. So use your voice, take the opportunity to speak truth and be honest. That is why you're there. And I know that's not easy all the time because sometimes people don't wanna hear the truth, but it is what allows us to be great and successful in what we're doing here at Cal. And sometimes it's what we need to do to make the change occur, because it will not occur sometimes otherwise. And I have to tell you, I've done it quite a few times with each administration, and I hope that it has made some difference, and I'm confident that it has in different kinds of ways. So please continue to be about using your voice. And it does require courage in doing that. And so I encourage you to have courage. I'll say it that way. Understand resistance. I talked a little bit about that earlier. Playback stated organizational values that demonstrate that your actions are intended to align themselves with what you heard. Again, being here today, I'm glad to see all of you here. I wish we had twice as many people here. I have many people who have come up to me and said, well, I wanted to go to this, I wanted to go attend this workshop, this class, this whatever, and management or my manager or my supervisor didn't support that. Again, if management is saying these things are important, then you should say how this thing you're trying to do is about reaching the intended goal that they said was important for their organization. And if they can't hear you, I think you have to make some choices. Honestly speaking, you do have to make some choices. So changes to be aware of, learn to adapt to change is constant, happening every day. Every day things are changing. Change can be scary. However, you have to tell the negative committee that is meeting in your head to sit down and shut up. And the truth of the matter is, some of y'all got committees where you got too many chairs for then you have people, and too many people then you have chairs. You just need to clear them out. Take them to go somewhere, have a vacation, do whatever they need to do, but you have to tell them to go away. And that is where we do self-talk. We talk ourselves out of something. How many of you, the first time, you're the first person to talk yourself out of something? A job, an opportunity, an experience, speaking truth, whatever it may be. And that's the committee meeting up there, holding up the banner saying, you don't know, you don't have enough information, you're not smart enough, you're not the right whatever it may be. So you have to tell them just to take a time out, go do something different, and to keep it going. I'll use this to say that, again, as I talked about, change is constant. We are changing things every day. We are adapting to what's necessary in our environments, and we have to do that. We are making changes in the chancellor's office. We just had some changes that have taken place, created opportunities for other people in my portfolio, which I am thoroughly excited about. And then I always say when change occurs, you just make it room for other things. So I see it as a blessing, God saying, hey, I got a new blessing. I'm bringing it your way. And I just made space. So look at things in a positive light. Sometimes we look at stuff and we're going to go, oh, what's in that? There's not a doggone thing in it. It's just an opportunity. And take it that way rather than think that it might be all about something else. Always ask for what you deserve. Always. You may have to negotiate around it to get to where the ultimate outcome is, but you're the best person to put that conversation forward if somebody doesn't put it forward for you. And at the end of the day, I would just like to encourage all of you to remember that we all need help. We really do. We don't do any of this by ourselves. It just doesn't work that way. And if you think you're doing it by yourself, somebody told you something wrong. I'm just going to say it that way. You might want to think about it. I believe in dressing for success. Y'all look good up in here, but we can be dressed like some Power Rangers. Still, please ask somebody for some help, okay? Still have somebody help you out to do the things that you need to do. Consciously look for ways to improve yourself. Today is certainly one such opportunity. Executive coaching is one such thing. We have a coach's corner here today. One of my dear friends is in there as a coach. Just use folks who have the talents to help you look at things. If you want to go back to school, go back to school. I've had people say, well, if I go back to school, I'll be 40 or 50. Well, hell, if you're going to be 40 or 50, you might as well go back to school and get your degree while doing it, right? I mean, hey, it's a great opportunity, I figure, like that. We have a great group of women who have come together on this campus called the Lean In Circle. Where are my ladies at? Woo, woo. Well, how many of you know about the Lean In Circle? Okay, so you should learn more about them. This is a group of ladies who have come together on this campus to help support each other. Both they're leaning in, leaning on, lifting up, a conversation for each other to encourage each other. They get together once a month, I think, right? Is that right? Help me out, ladies. Yes, they're doing like that. Once a month. I went and spoke with them a couple of months back. But I share their eagerness and their courage to get together to form this group so that they can come together as we're thinking about all the different things and changes that are happening around the campus. They're coming together, talking about those changes, talking about what that means to them. How do they build a network of people to talk and make things happen so that they can understand where to go? Good support for each other, coaching for each other, et cetera, et cetera. So form whatever groups you can together when you can and how you can to be an example of how to, again, help with each other. Network, network, network. That's what you're doing here today. How many of you all brought business cards, have business cards? Okay, so let me say something about business cards. I was talking to someone in the room a little earlier. If you don't have a business card in the position that you have here at this institution, you should get a business card just for you. Just get one. Put your name on it. Put your email. Make sure you have something to show and leave with somebody to communicate with people about who you are and what it is that you want to do. My lady over here, we talked about that this morning. Do that so that you have a platform about how you want to move yourself around and stay informed, but where people can pull it out of their pocket and go, I remember meeting that person, and I want to get back in touch with them. So continue to network. You have just a vast array of workshops here today. Take advantage of all of them, follow up, do the work and the homework that they have asked for you to do, and be conscientious of that. And then another thing I would encourage you to do is to find those one or two people who I call will help me not lose my job today. I got about 4 or 5 of them. But those are the people who you want to go to and say, I just heard that, I just had that experience. So was it me or them? Check in. And they might say it was them. That's not for you to go get in their face and go, see, I knew it was you. No, that's not what that's about. It is for you to then have a plan of how do you want to deal with that situation. They might even say it's you, and they should be people who can tell you that. Don't go get your buddies who are always going to line up with you on everything you do. Get some people who are going to be honest with you and go, no, I don't know if you quite heard that the right way. And they will help you navigate what's next. And then finally, I believe we have a responsibility to help others. Be a mentor, get a mentor. We have a lot of people on this campus who are serving in those roles. And a mentor is an active participant in your professional and personal spheres of what you want to do, who draw from their own experience to provide knowledge, support, and resources. But here's the key. Define your objectives. Be clear about what you're after. Look around. Maybe that person is someone in the workplace. Maybe not. Look more broadly. Ask for what you want. People are not mind readers. Okay, it's not that you go and sit in front of your mentor and they're supposed to make all your decisions for you. That's not why they're there. They're there to help you decide on what you want to do. Bring your goals to your meeting. Use your time wisely. Have some targeted questions. Be realistic about your expectations. A mentor's job is to expand your scope and to get you to think about how to frame your experience. And finally, pay it forward. Be a mentor to someone else. When you have crashed through the glass ceiling, don't just look down and wave at the folks still down there. You know, grab somebody's hand and help pull them up, okay? So I'm going to end with a couple of quotes and some thoughts. There's a quote by Oprah that says, "When your life is on course with its purpose, you are most powerful. And you may stumble, but you will not fall. Strength multiplied equals power." So in closing, I encourage each of you to sustain your power, reach high, for stars lie hidden in your soul, dream deep, for every dream precedes the goal. Every sunrise starts a journey, and we only have one chance to live this day better than we did our last. Therefore, continue to imagine the possibilities. Thank you.